Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hi, red.olaughlin here. We're Talking Heads on the USA Global TV and Radio Network, but we're also on the E360 TV network. We're on the Roku, we're on Amazon Fire, and plenty of other places. We've been spending the last couple weeks talking about nutrition, a deep dive into nutrition. What exactly do we need with regard to nutrition? And I did not load up my, let me take care of immediate problem that we will work around and get done quickly. But as I'm doing this, let me go ahead and talk. And when we look at there we go. That's what I want right there. When we look at our health, disease starts as a chronic low-level cellular inflammation. And that low-level cellular inflammation is influenced by a number of different things: stress, exercise, genetics, very little on genetics, but our diet is probably one of our biggest ones. And when we're looking at that particular problem, the issue is, are we getting the right mix? If I'm deficient in, say, vitamin B12 long enough, it mimics Alzheimer's. And I'm saying that what I didn't do before the show is not working as well as I thought it was. So we're just going to keep talking and make this thing right. So the issue is that if I have the right stuff in my body, I'm generally not going to have a problem. Wrong button again. My goodness. Go to vacation and all of a sudden I have to be retrained on everything. Nope. There we go. It's the right one this time. And upload file, and let's assume that this one's going to work. If not, we're going to have fun today. And it's not loading like it should. Regardless, let's just keep on going. And if it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just worry about it down the road. But anyway, at the cellular level in the body, that's where everything happens. And so if your cells are in good shape, your body's going to be in good shape. But the other limiting factor is your gut. You have to have the right stuff in your gut in order to take the stuff that's being ingested with your food in order to get it to the right places in the body. And that's where things come in with these particular vitamins and minerals. Sometimes that vitamin or mineral is needed in a specific location, like iron, to make your red blood cells. But there are a lot of things that are there. And sometimes the vitamin or the mineral is needed to enhance the enzyme productivity or being able to create a protein to make something else happen. So there's a lot of issues there that we need to come up with. Just to let everybody know, there was an issue again with your file. Please try again later. No problem. I am a researcher. I have never been in a medical industry, never been in the pharmaceutical industry. I research, I look at the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem, treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms. But I look at it with that chemistry in mind. That's my first love, and it's what I use literally on a daily basis. But if you're going to treat symptoms, you're always going to be treating them. So the cause comes from understanding what happens at this point, at that point, at that point, and sometimes you can speed it up, sometimes you can shut it down. But there are a lot of things that you can do, but you have to actually take that for action. We left off last time before we got into fluoride, and this is one of those more controversial, and that one's not loading, so we're going to do another clear. And so fluoride is a mineral. That looks like it's maybe loading fast, or doesn't matter. We'll continue on. Fluoride's a trace mineral. You don't need a whole lot of it, but it's got a lot of good publicity and a lot of bad publicity. And maybe sometimes in between, you're not necessarily getting the full story. Yes, it prevents tooth decay. It gives you strong bones. But the aspect is it has a lot of potential problems down the road. And when people are putting fluoride in the water system, there's a lot of people there that are doing things at home to take fluoride out of the water in order to give you things. Ah, my goodness, everything just kind of popped up. Thank you, production engineer. I really, truly appreciate that. Okay, back to the beginning. We already talked about not medical pharmaceutical. My first degree was chemistry. I have 5 academic degrees. I didn't get a chance to practice chemistry because I got an invitation to Vietnam. I came back and I was too far out of that particular career field to get into it. So I went different ways. But anyway, I look for causes at the cellular level in the body. That's where I think most everything happens and what you have the ability to treat. This presentation, as always, deals with awareness and education. Next slide, please. Okay, fluoride, trace mineral, positive, negative. Tooth decay, we already talked about. But if I'm deficient in fluoride, one of the side effects, one of the symptoms is teeth and bone issues. That's where your bone, your calcium is. So your calcium needs magnesium, it needs fluoride, it also needs boron, needs silicon, it needs a couple other things. But if I'm deficient in fluoride as an overall general part of my body, I am going to have teeth and bone problems. If I have too much, I'm going to have other issues. Your typical vomiting, diarrhea, all that stuff, but your diarrhea, drooling, taste, because that you're going to get that metallic kind of weird taste in the mouth. Eye issues, headache issues, a lot of things there with regard to too much or too little. And that's the story of our life with regard to anything that we're looking at from a nutritional perspective for our body. There's a certain area we can be in. Some vitamins and minerals, if I take too much, the body will just process it out. Other times it won't process it out, and you're going to have some residual effects from it. Some of the sources of fluoride: black tea, white wine, seafood, and potatoes. Who would have thought potatoes? But it's a particular source. When I look at United States compared to other countries, the water over there doesn't have fluoride in it. In the United States, we do. In the United States, we have toothpaste with fluoride added. Over there, they don't. It's not, I don't think it's really needed. If you're getting it in your water, you don't really need it in your toothpaste. It's one of those things I look specifically for when I buy toothpaste, that I don't want that particular chemical in what I put in my mouth. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, iodine. Iodine. It's a mineral, and most people, associate iodine with the thyroid, but it also deals with your metabolism, with your bones. It's part of that process. It's not one thing does something. One thing has an acting role. One may be the major, one may be contributing, one may be just a handshake, but a lot of things have to happen in order to get a particular chemical from a leafy green vegetable through the stomach acid into the colon, past the immune system, into the bloodstream, and to the particular organ that can use it. Sources of iodine: seaweed, shellfish, salt, dairy, and a lot of times you'll see iodine added. The big thing way back when was salt, and they have iodized salt, because when they started processing food, a lot of what we had decades ago, iodine was part of it. Nowadays, it's not, and they add it back into the salt. If you're deficient in iodine, severe fatigue, depression, slower heartbeat. If you have, you may also have dry skin, hair loss, or confusion. It has a multitude of problems. Too much: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea seems to be the standard. But delirium, mouth and throat issues. So it's a particular chemical. You don't need much of it, but you need it all the time. Next slide, please. And I need to get rid of that so I can see that. Okay. Iron, hemoglobin in your blood. It's also part of the myoglobin, hormone production, immune system, growth. Iron is needed in many different aspects of the body. Sources, again, if it's added to foods, fortified, leafy green vegetables, whole grains, beef, a lot of sources that can give you the iron that you need. Too little, anemia, that's going to pop up. You try to donate blood, and they say you don't have enough iron, you're anemic. Sometimes you'll end up with dry or very coarse hair, fatigue, dizziness. There are a lot of side effects of having too little iron in the body. Too much: abdominal cramps, vomiting, diarrhea. Sometimes it can be fatal. The body is pretty smart. If it has something, a poison that comes in, a poison can be too much of a particular thing. It's going to get rid of it in a couple different ways. Number one, it's going to vomit it out. Number two, it's going to diarrhea it out. It's just going to get rid of it as quick as it can. And those are the two primary avenues of excess. Now, if I have too much of a particular one and the kidneys process it out, then I'm just going to pee it away, and the urination takes care of it. But we have a few of those that you can't get too much of, but not many. Next slide. Lithium, one of those ones that kind of has an unknown function in the body. It's a mood stabilizer, used a lot in bipolar disorder. The FDA banned it back in the 40s. A lot of side effects that patients didn't like, doctors didn't like, reinstated it in the 70s. Still have some side effect issues from it. Sources: cereal grains, cabbage, potatoes, dairy, pistachios, high in lithium. If you're deficient in it, depression, mood, obviously your mind issue, impulse control, violence, big one. And there are a multitude of other ones when you have deficiency in lithium. Too much, usually a prescription medicine problem, not generally something you get from your cabbage or pistachios. So if it's an issue of taking too much medicine or combination of medicines, that could be an issue. Intestinal issues, your vomiting, diarrhea, etc. Confusion, neurological issues, uncontrolled shaking, and yes, it can be fatal. And I think this is my next slide, please. I think this is one that I did a little bit extra on. There we go. There is a nutritional supplement of lithium called low dose, and low dose is very low, but just that little pinch of lithium in the body really enhances our longevity. It reduces our risk of dementia. It slows brain aging. It supports healthy DNA. And if you're looking at longevity, your telomere length is one of the ones. That's the little twisty thing at the bottom of your DNA. As the cell replicates and becomes two cells, you lose a little bit of that twist tie at the bottom of your DNA. And so when I'm looking at lithium, low dose lithium, very, very low dose, and go online, put in low dose lithium, you can find it. It's pretty available. And does a lot of things. It doesn't get you into that range of having too much or anything else. Okay, next slide, please. Magnesium, one of the major workhorses in the body. This thing is unbelievable. As many places it's used. It's essential mineral. It's used for muscle and nerve function, blood sugar regulation, blood pressure control, protein synthesis, and improves your sleep, quality of sleep, exercise performance, bone maintenance, digestive health, all sorts of things magnesium is used for. You want good, strong bones, you need magnesium. You also need calcium, but the magnesium is the one that drives the calcium where it needs to go. Sources: pumpkin seeds, nuts, greens, leafy green vegetables, black beans, soy products, peanut butter, brown rice, seafood, avocado, and many more. There's a lot of sources of magnesium. Next slide, please. If I'm deficient in magnesium, typically I will have a numbness somewhere, muscle contractions, cramps. If you're sleeping at night and you have restless leg, you get those cramps, that's generally an indication maybe I have too little magnesium, too little potassium. There's something that I have too little of in my nutrients, and I'm getting those leg cramps at night, restless leg. It's not a cramp, but it just keeps bothering you. It's enough to wake you up. But that's kind of and you can also get major cramps from any other part of the body. But at night when you're sleeping, it wakes you up. It might very well be a magnesium deficiency or a potassium deficiency. You may see with deficiency in magnesium, personality changes, heart issues, coronary spasms. Again, if you get too much, nausea, vomiting, facial flushing. In other words, your face turns red, feels hot, appetite loss, and dehydration, headaches, muscle weaknesses, lethargy. It can cause coma. It can have cardiac distress. It can cause death. You start getting more than 400 milligrams consistently, you're going to have a problem. Kidneys will flush it out. As general, it's not a problem because it's that. But if you do have a problem, if you increase your calcium, your phosphorus, your potassium, B6, vitamin C, vitamin D, those are some things that will help offset the increase in magnesium where you're taking it from too much down to a manageable level. So those are things that are options. Next slide, please. Manganese, bone formation, blood clotting, immunity support. It's really needed with regard to your carbohydrate and cholesterol metabolism. Also needed in reproduction. Your sources are whole grains, nuts, leafy green vegetables, clams and oysters, pineapples, and black pepper. I use black pepper on literally everything that I have. Black pepper takes some particular nutrients that are not very bioavailable, but you add the piperine, this black pepper extract, and all of a sudden they just go wild. It's like somebody turned on a switch and went super exponential in the body. It just makes some things more bioaccessible inside the body. So black pepper is a really good thing to have. If I'm deficient in manganese, I usually see slow growth, bone issues. You usually see this more in infants and kids than you do in adults because you're already back through that growth phase. Glucose intolerance, an abnormal metabolism of carbohydrates and fats. Next slide. If I get too much, tremors, muscle spasms, decreased hand-eye coordination, your decreased balance, hearing loss, headaches, depression, mood swings. This particular mineral, manganese, is best taken with calcium, iron, a B complex, and vitamin E. And as we know, there's 8 different vitamins, 8 different components to vitamin E. And what you get in a multivitamin is generally a synthetic and not really a true component of the for tocopherols or for tocotrienols. Next slide, please. Molybdenum. It's a trace mineral. It's really important for your enzyme component in order to create some enzymes absolutely needed. It helps break down proteins, genetic materials. It also helps break down drugs, alcohol, toxins. It's a workhorse within the body in order, there are certain things that have to be broken down into other things. Toxins, alcohol, or drugs. There are certain things that must happen within the body, and for those either be effective or to get rid of them. And the molybdenum is one of the ones that does that. Whole grains, rice, nuts, potatoes, bananas are very good sources of molybdenum. Deficiency, very rare in the United States. But if you do have it, generally seizures and some kind of brain damage, tachycardia, headaches, mental disturbances, coma. Some attribute mental retardation to having a trace amount, having very little molybdenum, neurological problems, eye issues. It's a drug, it's a trace mineral, but you need just a little bit of it. And probably one of the best sources, I think, is from your salt. You have this pink salt, Himalayan salt. There's generally enough in that. I am switching over right now to a thing called Baja Gold salt. That is a little bit better quality salt with regard to trace minerals, but also with regard to not having the heavy metals in it. But if you're getting, bananas, potatoes, nuts, and other things, generally not a problem, at least not in the United States. Let's move on to the next one. Too much molybdenum. I can get that if I'm a worker and I'm working a lot in the soil, outside in the air, and people who mine, it's where you get too much. Other than that, we generally never see it. It's rare for the rest of us. But if you're working in a mine and you're working mining gold, mining whatever that mineral may happen to be, there's going to be some molybdenum in the soil that gets into the air. You have contact with it with the skin, you breathe it in, you're going to end up with achy joints, gout-like symptoms, hypertension. But again, for most of us, it's a non-issue. Next slide, please. Phosphorus. Again, all of these are essential. They're just whether a trace amount is needed or I need a whole bunch. But phosphorus, essential mineral for growth, maintenance and repair of cells, tissues, your teeth, your bones. It regulates your body's pH. Are you too acidic? Are you too alkaline? We really need to have a slightly higher. Neutral is 7.0 on a scale of 1 to 14. 7 is pure water. You need a little higher than 7, about 7.4, to keep your bloodstream at the right pH. That's where it wants to be. If you're acidic and you're down around 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, the body's going to say, I need to keep my pH of my blood at a certain level, generally about 7.4. And it's going to go into your bones and steal calcium out of your bones to keep your pH regulated at the right one. I had this problem myself. I've talked about it on other shows. It's super easy to get your pH out of balance, and that's by eating too many carbs, too many fats, too many proteins. If that is the bulk of your diet, you generally are going to have a problem with pH regulation in the body, and you're going to have a potential problem down the road of osteoporosis, osteopenia, because the body will grab the calcium out of those, out of your bones, and use it to maintain that pH in the body. Sources, proteins, any kind of meat product will generally give you enough phosphorus. If I'm deficient in it, loss of appetite, muscle weakness, bone pain, coordination issues, burning or prickling of the skin, fragile bones. We talked about that a second ago. Stiff joints, trouble breathing. And we're getting down toward the end of time. Let's go ahead to the next slide, please. If I have too much phosphorus, kidneys are going to remove most of it. Generally not a problem. But if I happen to have it over and over and over and again, because the kidneys are working overtime, I may end up developing a kidney problem. I may have bone weaknesses, joint pain, heart disease, and yes, even death. There's a few of these things. If I get too much of it, I'm going to have a problem. But just like I had with magnesium, if I add more calcium to the diet, I can kind of stabilize the phosphorus a little bit. But this phosphorus is best with calcium, iron, manganese, sodium, or vitamin B6. Next slide. Potassium, I think we can cover this one. Potassium, it's a mineral and electrolyte. So you end up with a double whammy as far as the effect here. Kidneys, bones, cardiovascular system, blood pressure. Uh, it's used in a lot of things. It prevents kidney stones, healthy nervous system. Our muscles need it. We find sources in potatoes, bananas, beets, fish, dairy, greens, raisins, spinach, mushrooms. Lots and lots and lots of sources of potassium. Muscle cramps, weakness. I mentioned it earlier. I may have a potassium weakness. If I have a restless leg syndrome in the middle of the night and I can't overcome it without getting out of bed, I have potassium in the bedroom. I'll go in there, take one or two, and in 10 minutes it's gone. But I may also have fatigue and constipation with it. Next plus slide, probably the last slide. If I'm deficient, abnormal heart rhythm, fainting, heart stopping, excessive thirst and urination, low blood pressure, muscle spasms. If I have too much, it can be very dangerous and life-threatening. We're talking about electrolyte hitting the heart and causing palpitations, shortness of breath, chest pain, vomiting, diarrhea. A lot of issues with too much, a lot of issues with too little. So it's rarely toxic, and there's nothing really you need to take with it. With that, I'm going to conclude today's with the end of potassium. We'll pick it up next week. Thank you so very much, and we'll catch you later. Bye now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy Cram Perkins. I'm the author of Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. I also have a day job where I work in the electrical industry. I have found a home here on USA Global TV to tell people about different aspects of dementia and how to survive dementia care. It's a passion of mine, going back to when I first started taking care of my mother, all the way through 3 other family members to my aunt who died recently. My mission is trying to make it easier for people to do dementia care, to find shortcuts that will help them survive and maybe even thrive. So that is my mission. What I've discovered here on USA Global TV in sharing the information is that a lot of people have reached out to me, and we are talking about different aspects of their care. Now, at this point, I don't have a package that I put together. However, that will be coming. What I am doing now, because I do have a day job, is I make appointments with people, and then we can talk about the things that they're struggling with and see if we can't get them through to something that will work for both them and their loved ones. USA Global TV has opened such a world up to me as far as outreach, being able to get to people who don't know where to start. And they've been able to just connect with us online and find out about what we're doing and how we're helping people. And I am so proud of being able to be a part of this and to get the message out that you can also come to USA Global TV and talk about whatever your expertise is, as I'm sharing mine. One of the things that I've found when I've been talking to people about dementia care is maybe they don't have time to sit and talk to me in person, or we can't get together. Yet if they let me know about a topic, it's something that we can address, and I can either send to them or I can post public. My book is available on Amazon. It's available also in wide release at Barnes & Noble. You can also get it at your favorite local booksellers. It's available online through Target as well. So if you want to come and find me and find my package, right below here is my social contact and my email, so that you feel free to reach out to me and we can make an appointment to chat. And I look forward very much to hearing from you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Simon MacDonald. I live in the West Highlands of Scotland, a very beautiful part of the world. Seems a long way from the USA Global TV station. But remember, USA Global TV is worldwide. It's a fantastic platform. And every Wednesday, I come along here as part of the show of the United Kingdom News and Culture. And it's just like a family reunion each time. It's one of these amazing stations that has such a beautiful, friendly, and intelligent atmosphere as well. And we reach out to an audience in the most unimaginable places. And I came here, I don't know, must be over a year ago now. I was introduced by Dr. Philip Chan, And I met Ian Plum-Turner and Helena Chard, who are co-presenters on the show. And then Diane Floyd-Bem came along as well. And I mean, the five of us, Dr. Jacqueline, of course, who is our host and our mentor, has just made this show work so well. Tremendous people, lovely time we have, and we impart a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. Nothing's rehearsed. It's all done off the cuff, and it all just gels. And we get great feedback from people coming back and saying how they're enjoying the show. It's lovely to hear, and it's lovely to get that interaction from outside as well. And we're all listeners, and some of us are elevated listeners as well. So we enjoy every second of it, and we hope you do too.
This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes. Building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I find I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSc.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our clients for their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate. I just can't take it anymore. I am so tired. I am so frustrated and burnt out. Why won't anyone listen to what I have to say? Yet I look on social media and everybody's smiling and having a great time. Meanwhile, I feel totally alone with my world rushing by. Guess what? Great news. You have a choice. You can change the dynamic by learning how to listen at an elevated level yourself through the power of listening educational courses. Can you imagine from where you are today to having a life overflowing with abundance? It's possible. Learn how to listen at an elevated level. You'll have deeper connections, better relationships, and more authentic conversations. Start today. Go to usaglobaltv.com, education, and learn how to listen. We have courses and children's books. Let's work together to learn how to listen. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Caruth, Etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of the world's first tooth fairy ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Caruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecaruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.